Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this video. It's the 20th, Tuesday the 20th of August 2019, and this is my third video about consciousness, and I want to introduce you to Leslie Fieger, who is standing there with a beautiful blue sea behind him. And I will also, during this, not only be introducing you to his next event, which is the Metamorphosis event, but I will also be reading his introduction to the first Delfin knowledge system that Colin and I bought at that time. That was in 1998, on the 16th of October. We received our Delfin knowledge system course. We'd paid £850 for it, but we resonated so much with Leslie when we'd met him, and also the other people that were there at the group and talks about Delfin when it came over to England, that the trust was there. The trust was in us. So I'm going to bring you into listening to Richard Granger, who's doing the Delfin, organising the putting on of the Metamorphosis event, and then it will go on to why Leslie sees that we need to go within our heart and see what we're going to do with the world we see and have at the moment.
Hi, I'm Richard Granger, and over the decades I've been privileged to work with so many wonderful people in the personal achievement business. People like Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Bob Allen, Mark Victor Hansen, Barbara DeAngelis, John Assarath, Leslie Fieger. These people are experts at helping people become bigger and better in their own life. Leslie Fieger came to us again and asked us to produce the next event. He calls them the Metamorphosis, and they're designed to bring you, the viewer, and the audience to their next level of life. And he's going to tell you all about his plans for Metamorphosis, which will be powered by Delfin International. Pretty cool.
Why Metamorphosis? Why me? And why now? Because I have been called upon. And in fact, we are all being called upon right now to elevate our consciousness. If you take a look at the world, I think you will see what appears to be signs of a crisis. Geopolitical turmoil, social upheaval, environmental degradation, economic uncertainty, and on and on and on. There is an awful lot of noise and confusion in our world, and most folks are rushing around using outmoded ways of thinking and acting, attempting to cope with it all. We have to change the narrative to radically shift our paradigm. As Albert Einstein told us, we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking we used when we created them. We absolutely must upgrade our consciousness, transform ourselves, and become fully self-actualized human beings. We must stop seeing ourselves as mere creatures caught up in a world beyond our control and start seeing ourselves as conscious creators. Let's make it personal. We'll talk about your journey to empowerment and self-actualization. You know that there exists a much, much greater aspect of you that is pleading to be allowed to emerge. A bolder, more powerful, more creative, and more contributory you. Which is why you've read all the self-help books, taken the empowerment courses, attended the seminars, listened to the gurus, and maybe even visited the shamans. And yet, Despite all the information you've found, the knowledge you've accumulated, the experiences you've undergone, the insights you've had, the techniques you've applied, the inner work you've done, and the dedication to your own self-actualization that you have demonstrated, you know deep in your heart that something is still missing. That truly transcendental experience when it all comes together, when profound self-realization occurs and you step into the fullness of self and personal power. You have known that this moment was coming. Now it is here. Everything you have already experienced has led you to this moment. This is your choice point. I invite you to step into your greatness and learn how to take control of your destiny. Metamorphosis awaits you, and the world awaits your higher self and your greater contributions. Come transform yourself and your world. It is time to step into that greater you, the real you, the authentic higher aspect of you. The world needs your greatness, your creativity, your contribution. I promise you that the Metamorphosis event will be unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a multimedia, multisensory, and multidimensional event that will empower you and transform your life beyond your expectation. Your legacy begins right here and right now. Join us. Become part of a worldwide community of creative and contributory people committed to building a bigger and bolder future. Book your ticket today. It is time for you to emerge from your cocoon and spread your wings. Metamorphosis awaits you.
The grub into the chrysalis, into the butterfly. It's a journey every single one of us takes, whether we know it or whether we don't. To live a life unactualized, to live a life where we only consider that we're a meat suit. Literally, I think it was Walsh that termed the meat suit. In other words, and also it was what the British so-called, I'm going to say quasi-philosopher Locke considered that the human being was, he didn't use the word meat suit, but that's what he indicated, that we have no sensory perception, or we have no greater than our sensory perceptions, that we're worthless. That is why the British establishment over many hundreds of years, actually starting with Queen Elizabeth I, who had a very, she loved her navy, to conquer the rest of the world, to bring them into slavery. In 1694, the Bank of England was the last Vatican bank to be set up, to take down America. America was barely born from the 1500s, when Nicholas of Cusa urged, I believe on his deathbed, his friends to go to America. It was called the New World. And also Saint Germain could not stay in Europe when he was at the Palace of Versailles. He said, "It is too bloody. Now we are confronted with paedophilia, great rings of paedophiles." In Britain we had a Prime Minister, Sir Edward Heath, who took us into the European Union, a European Union that was made up of bankers and corporations, many who were like Edward Heath, paedophiles. The proof was all there, but it was blocked by powerful people. We just have to look around the world, as Leslie has shown, just those few shots. We just have to go on to, I won't suggest look in the newspapers, because the mainstream media either fixes things or puts out propaganda. But when you go onto good sites, and we've got many of them, even though the people like YouTube and Google and Facebook have sidelined them, the conservative ones, the people that actually are speaking the truth, there is a lot that we have to do if we want a world that is fit for our children and our grandchildren. I have 7 grandchildren, 6 of those are girls, and the oldest is 30-something, and the youngest is a boy, and he's 10. Wonderful. And 2 wonderful great-grandsons. The oldest is 6, then the next one is 3. What sort of world do I want those children and their friends to grow up in? Could I stand by and do nothing? Could I think, after doing Delfin, could I continue to think that I have no power? Of course I can't. Knowledge, once gained, can never be forgotten. So I urge you, go onto my link, which is in the description box, and take a look at the entire video that Leslie has put up, which will explain so much. In my next video, I will read the introduction from the Delfin knowledge system that Colin and I did 21 years ago. We did not know what it would do for us. All we had was meeting Leslie and meeting other people who'd done Delfin, observing them, listening to them, and realizing they were head and shoulders above other people. I don't mean that in a destructive way. I mean that they were so filled with an awareness of who they were that they could take steps to really fulfill their mission in life. God bless. Look forward to connecting with you. There's an email there. Let me know if you want to talk with me, and we'll go from there. God bless. This is Katannya Alven from London, just 2.5 miles from the infamous city of London. What destruction has come out of that? Here we have an opportunity of recreating the world. It cannot be done in an instant. It can only be done by awakened souls. Come and join us. God bless.